Hey folks, I want to start with a fact that somebody told me a few years ago that really changed how I look at diet, lifestyle, eczema, and everything else. Somebody said to me that the body renews itself pretty much every 6 years. So, as you probably know, your body is creating new cells all the time. So, you'll know this physically from if you have eczema because you'll see those little layers of skin come up behind the layers that are shedding off. And so, you'll see that the body's creating fresh skin behind the skin that is full of toxin and needs to be let go of by the body. So, if you have eczema and you're seeing that skin shed, you're seeing the die off happen literally before your eyes on a daily basis. But that's just a small picture of this fact that the body renews itself every 6 years. I don't think that includes the bones, by the way. I think it's just everything else except the bones completely refreshes, replaces, renews itself every 6 years. So think about that for a second. Think about a 19-year-old that's got a pretty poor diet. Let's say there's a 19-year-old living standard Western diet with animal products, fast food every now and again, not very much exercise, poor hydration, caffeine, all this type of thing. If he's living that kind of a life and then he changes that all around and he completely revolutionizes his lifestyle, by the age of 25, he could still be the best version of himself. How about that for some motivation if you're pretty young, or even if you're not that young, even if you're already in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you could still renew your body and enjoy your older age, enjoy your latter years because of changes that you can make now. So I'm not saying you're going to turn into a supermodel or a world-class athlete within 6 years, but you will become the best version of yourself. So if you have the innate ability with your specific genetic pool, say to run a 17-minute 5K, you could be able to do that. You could do that within a 6 year period. And so this was hugely exciting to me because I started to realize once my skin was starting to get better, I started to realize all the other things that were coming in. Like I was getting fitter and I was getting fewer colds, and all these other things were all these other positive things that I didn't even think about were coming in from the diet and lifestyle that I had taken on. Genetics does play a small part in the recipe for how strong you can be, how fast you can run, and how resilient to disease you can be. But the reason most people never achieve the best versions of themselves is they don't inherently believe that they have that much sway over things. They think the genetics has more of a say than it actually does. I think for most things, genetics probably has like a 20%. I'm almost just plucking that figure out of the air, but I'm kind of basing that on my own experience. I think maybe about a 20% impact on your life compared to 80% that would come from environmental factors. So this is like how much you train, your diet and lifestyle. The beauty of learning to work with the body is that the learning phase is actually pretty short-lived because of how adaptable we are as humans. Now, it's that same adaptability that kind of works against us in that we can get stuck in a rut of a pretty poor lifestyle. And so what we want to do is use that adaptability like not against us. We want to use that adaptability in favor of adopting a really good diet and lifestyle. We will adapt to it. We'll learn to love it. It will become part of us. And the other thing is when the body is clean from all the stimulation, all the toxins and stuff that we used to put in there, it starts to see clearly that the body, it tends towards a path of health once it's been cleaned of all the toxic, all the caffeine, all the stimulants, everything else that you used to put in there. It will drive you on down that path of health.